Welcome to episode 4 of MX5 Diary. I'm Steve, and on this channel I'll be talking about the things I've only really learned having owned the new MX5 for a while. Some things I really like, some things I've learned along the way, and some real first world problems, almost as grave as that time I put too much water in my quinoa. That day still haunts me. In this episode, I'll be covering 3 things a number of you have been asking me about: the car's voice recognition system. Now I've owned the car for a while, is it making any strange noises? And for the technical and the brave, I'll be showing you how I customised my car's entertainment display. But first, voice recognition. As a senior design lead for a very large computer company, I get to create some of the world's coolest technologies. Not by starting with the technology, but by understanding people and their needs, which then leads to the creation of that technology. So I'm not going to test how good the car's voice recognition system is at recognising someone, but actually how useful is it? Is it better and faster than the old way? Today I've been joined by a work colleague of mine, Chris, who's owned a number of MX5s, Mark 1s and Mark 2s. Big fan of MX5 Diary?
Not really.
Yeah, you say that, but I know you've watched the videos because of the comment you made. The comment about my hat. And that's fine because I welcome any feedback, you know, good or jokey. Remember the... I've got it written here actually. Take that hat off, you look like a right idiot. Right, so we're going to conduct a bit of an experiment, and earlier I timed you doing 3 tasks in the car using the standard controls. So 1, switching my entertainment system to play music from my phone. 2, to play a radio station from one of my favourites stored in the car. And 3, to adjust the temperature in the car. How did you find that?
Yeah, it's easy.
The controls are pretty good, aren't they? You can do it within seconds. You did it actually very quickly. So Chris, in the name of science, I'd like you to do that again, this time using the car's voice recognition system.
Okay.
But we're going to make it a bit more fun in a game I'm calling Chatter to Your Mazda.
God.
I'm going to make things a little easier for you at the start. I'm only going to start the timer when you press the button, and I'm going to give you the first couple of phrases to use.
Okay.
Okay? So, bear in mind, it took me ages to figure out those phrases. It's not easy to use. So the question is, will modern technology win? Are you ready?
Yep.
Oh, hang on, I've forgotten something. Won't be a minute. Right. So what's going to happen is if you take a bit longer than the old-fashioned way, I get to shoot you with the toy gun.
Right, why?
Chris, I don't want to shoot you. Right, this has nothing to do with the comment about the hat. It's just in the name of science.
Whatever, yeah.
So task 1, I want you to...
Oh!
Sorry about that.
That really hurt.
Yeah, well, it will do. I've just tightened the springs on this puppy. Right, so task 1, I want you to switch my entertainment system to play music from my iPhone. Doing this the old-fashioned way, you did this in 2.34 seconds. And to do that, you'll need to start with the phrase play USB 2. Your time starts now.
Say a command.
Play USB... Oh!
Oh, unlucky, Chris. It's a shame. Anyway, task 2. I want you to play a radio station from one of my favourites stored in the car. Last time you did this in 3.44 seconds. And to start, you'll need to initially say the phrase entertainment. Okay? And your time starts now.
Say a command.
Man.
Sorry about that, Chris. Anyway, task 3. I want you to adjust the temperature of the car. Last time you did that in a very quick 1.03 seconds. Now, this time I'm not going to give you a starting phrase, but I am going to give you a 5-second head start because I care. All right? Your time starts now.
Say...
Sorry, Chris. By the way, this is going to make you laugh. I found out last week you can't actually control the temperature with the voice recognition. But anyway, voice recognition is a wonderful technology, and if used to convey a request like where's the nearest fuel station, it works really well. But for a simple request when there's a button or control within easy reach, the old way always wins. It's just science fact.
Do you know what? You're a real...
So, hopefully you've learnt something new. I know Chris certainly has. Now, since I've had this car for a while, it has been making some strange noises. Within a few weeks of getting the car, there was a loud creaking noise coming from the rear axle. I took it to the garage, they lowered and reset the rear suspension, and since then I've not had any other problems in that area. However, recently I have been noticing some other strange noises. Most of the time in the car I don't hear any odd noises because most of the time I've got the roof down, and with the wind noise and the music I can barely hear myself think. But if I put the roof up, there's still quite a bit of wind noise. It's not the quietest car in the world, but there's no creaks or noises in the cabin, so it's all good really. Even around hard, tight corners, I can hear the tyres, but no noise in the cabin at all. Although there is a bit of a whining noise that comes from the gearbox when you're coasting. With the roof down, you will of course get more noise, particularly when you go past hard, solid objects like walls, because you get a lot of reflection from the bottom of the car. The sound comes out and bounces off and comes back into the cabin, but that's fine. The noises I've started hearing are when I go from forward to reverse or reverse to forward, and I can show this if I go into reverse quite hard, although I get the same effect if I reverse up a hill. Hear that creaking noise? And now that's happened. If I now go into a forward gear, and any time I accelerate hard, I get that clicking noise again. But now that I've gone forward, it won't happen again until I go into reverse. So something's twisting, something needs tightening up. Not a big problem, not something I'm worried about, and I can have that done during the next service. That said, I've had this car for a year. I drive it quite hard. No other noises, so it's all really rather good. Right, now to my garage where things get a bit technical. And finally, I'm going to show you how I hacked my car's entertainment display. But before I do, I need to give you a warning. I would consider myself to be very technical, and yet I found this quite scary and daunting because this car's my pride and joy and I didn't want to kill it, and I don't want you to kill your car either. So I'm deliberately going to keep this quite technical. If there's anything you don't understand, then there's an opportunity for you to go and learn more, and I take no responsibility if anything goes wrong, because it can quite easily go wrong. Right. So the first thing you'll need to do is connect your car to a wireless network. A wireless network you can also connect a laptop or a computer to. So what I did is I installed a cheap wireless router inside my garage. I've got one just above me up here. Your display will of course look slightly different because I've already customized mine, but go to Settings, Devices, Network Management, and then turn on Wi-Fi, and you should see your router appear and you can connect to it. To get going, I use this website. I've included a link. And now I'll show you a modification I made that's not on this site. And this was to change the text that appears when you first start the car. So I'm opening a command line and I'll log in as root. The root password for the car is JCI. All the files in the car are set by default to read only. So in order to make any changes to the files, we'll need to run this command. Now I'm going to directory JCI, GUI, resources, JS system, and here is a list of properties files. There's one for each language. You'll need to change the one for the language your car is set to. I actually changed two because I wasn't sure when I first got my car whether it was running American English or English. And I made a copy of those files and put a .org suffix at the end, so if I made a mistake, I at least had the original files. So now if I open the original UK file, you'll see all the text that appears throughout the display. Call history, CD, channel off air. There's that annoying disclaimer text. Distractions can cause accidents, blah, blah, blah. And towards the bottom, there's two other pieces of text that appear on the front screen. There's the I agree, which appears on the red button, and a title which appears in the top left that says warning. So what did I do? Well, if I go to the new file, and look at disclaimer text, you'll see that I've removed that message and that the bottom button now says have fun and the warning title is Steve Haskey. So when we start the car, it now says Steve Haskey, have fun. Now let's make a quick modification and I'll show you how this works. I'm going to update the disclaimer text to say Dr. Steve Haskey really would be a rather good Top Gear presenter. I'm sure you'll agree. I saved that file and now I'm going to reboot the car. To do that, I press Nav, Favorites and the mute button. Keep them held down for a few seconds and the car will reboot. And then when it starts, as if by magic, you now see the new text. There you go. Another thing you can do is download the software development kit. I've included a link, and create your own applications. The car comes with 3 applications. One of those is the fuel economy monitor I talked about in episode 2. In the kit, you'll get a few samples. If I select the speedometer, I can change the RPM and speed. And when you install this into your car and drive, it'll change for real. There's even a sample Tetris game, and I wouldn't recommend playing that whilst driving, of course. But you can create your own stuff if you know some coding. So maybe you could create a 0 to 60 timer, for example. Below, I've also described how I changed the images on my car's homepage. If you want to do this yourself, then good luck, and let me know how you get on.
Thank you for watching this episode, and thank you for all your comments. They're all welcome. In the next episode, I'm going to be talking about storage in the car, or rather the lack of it, and whether I find that a problem. And if there's anything in particular you want to see in a future episode, then please let me know.
That was so funny. All right.
So, task 1.
Oh my God. One more time.
You're smiling too much.
Oh shit.
Task 1. Oh, I forgot to cough.
Get out. It's good. I don't have to move at all.